match my outfit.
You,
Would you leave my piano? I wrecked my piano bench during COVID.
why?
Just sitting on it.
Just sitting on it, playing so much? Yes. Oh wow.
When you're a girl, you get to wear the coolest stuff. I mean, I don't understand why straight guys are into guy clothes. Like it seems very gay to me. The dude, the dude is right.
Yes. Yes, but tell us the dude is. Explain.
The dude is the me when I'm a man. There's no other easy way to do it. I was born as the dude, but then I emerged either from the cocoon or he put a cocoon around me. I'm not quite sure how it happened. But he doesn't really, he's not into clothes.
Yeah.
Right? He's just like jeans, whatever. Like, why do I need to look fancy? Like, it's very gay to him to be into clothes. He's just a dude, but
right.
I'm a girl. I love girls. I love girl clothes. Why wouldn't I want to wear it?
Exactly. I love it. In fact, you have amazing passages in the book that we're going to talk about you going and buying clothes for the first time and seeing what fit and seeing what looked like. And I just love those passages. They're so evocative to me. I could feel it as you.
I was like reliving it while I was writing it. I guess it's like a writing style. It's like, over years I took all these notes and I would just write about that. But then when you're writing about it, I'm reliving it. And I want to know what it's like to relive it.
I love it. I mean, congratulations on the book. First of all, I want to talk about Girl Shock, which is absolutely wonderful book. I wish I had my copy here to hold up.
There you go.
Perfect. Look at this. Girl Shock. We are talking about today, which is I dressed up as a girl for Halloween and she took over my life.
Yes.
Which is the story of Maria's emergence in San Francisco after a marriage falling apart and an American dream falling apart, this fabulous creature, Maria, emerging in a San Francisco that I feel has been slipping away.
Yeah.
So
it was so different back then. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the book is a fantastic, evocative writing about your journey, documentation of your journey. I love the illustrations in it. I love the photos in it. In fact, you were talking earlier about how Maria emerged from a chrysalis, but in the book, it's like a giant egg, this beautiful space egg.
That's for sure. Yeah, the egg just kept getting bigger. It just kept getting bigger. Yeah.
And the writing is just so electrifying too. I just want to ask, let's just start out with how does it feel to have this book out in the world, and what was the journey of it? Not so much the writing, but the publishing, and then we'll talk about how it felt to write it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, now that it's out, there's so many feelings. That the obvious one is, oh my God, I don't have any more work to do. I mean, I'm writing the book, right?
Right.
The marketing stuff is fun because now I have a publicist.
Yes, so right.
It's a lot of work, but the writing of the book was such an enormous monolithic task. There was a sense of relief, right? But then when I started, showing it at the bar, I was just so happy that people were enjoying it, and I didn't even realize they would be looking through the pictures in the bar, right? But now I'm starting to get feedback from people. I'm beginning to realize, oh my God, I just told everybody I know this
story.
So it's that third phase that I'm hitting. Literally, it's been about 3 weeks, and I haven't officially announced it yet because the ebook just came out, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I only now am I beginning to realize, oh my God, like my cousin texted me, and my brother, my other cousin,
Wow.
Like really, like
this is interesting. Wow.
Yeah, and it was like. And it reminded me of some of the feelings I had when I was a child of shame, not about sex, yes, but all different things. Right? And I was like, literally, this was all in the last week. So I'm going through these like flashbacks of what it feels like to be in the closet, not necessarily as trans or gay, or whatever, to be in the closet about my feelings. Period. Like I used to this piano. I grew up with this piano here. Was in the back room of my house, and whenever my craziness and emotional insanity, I would sit there and just play it. It was like my little secret that I had feelings.
Yeah. Okay.
And now it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to be interested. It's okay. All these things. It's okay. And I'm trying. Literally, that 12-year-old boy. I'm reliving it. Literally in the last week.
Fabulous. Oh, just all these feelings, especially the with the family reaction and everything. I mean, had they
Yeah.
known, I mean, had your family and a lot of people from your childhood known about Maria now,
Oh
or
yes.
was this
So I
okay?
knew about Maria as a performer,
Okay.
right? Because the truth, I dressed as a girl for Halloween, right? I mean, I did it with my ex-wife a little
Right?
bit. That's what I was always interested in kinky stuff. I mean, I was a dude, right? So but then when this opportunity came up and we went out and it was like, wow, this is pretty cool. It really did start that way. So it really was just a show thing, or a gimmick or whatever.
Hmm.
But then it just started opening up, as you read in the book. It just, I actually wrote a song called Girl Shock.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm going to have to finish recording it, but it really tells the story. It just can't keep getting better. It just can't get any better than this.
Right.
It's just like, I don't understand what's happening to me, right? That's what the song is. First, it was like, I'm all alone and I'm so happy, my life is full now. And the next verse is, well, I'm also getting laid. How did that happen? And I don't have to spend a
And
dime.
then
When I go out in the city and I'm feeling really pretty. So that's what it was like. So I just stopped trying to keep them up to date with all the things I was doing.
I
So
see. I
they
see.
just, some of them were like, yeah, I figured that. My cousin was like, when he was reading the scene about the first time a guy, can I talk dirty on this? Or
Yes, please.
the first time a guy came in my mouth without a condom, he was like, don't do it. No, it's almost like, as a previously straight dude, it's that feeling of walking through that door. I don't know if you
Yes.
experience it,
Right.
where there is no way back, right?
Right.
And that is how I felt because a girl, and I wrote about this, of course. A girl just dumped me just because I don't even want to get into it. It's not even important, right? Just typical straight stuff. And I was so, just wanted to get back at something. I'm not quite sure why. I wanted to do something radical. I'm like, well, I can go on Craigslist. 2 days later, a guy was unloading in my mouth, right? And then all the feelings about, I'm stepping through this one-way door. All these girls are watching me. I'm no longer a
Hmm.
dude, but I'm a slutty bad girl.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
those are very empowering.
Yes. I feel like that was also, I mean, a similar story. I mean, we're jumping around here, but why not? Because your
Yeah,
life is
yes,
so
yeah. I didn't answer
colorful
the
and
other
fun.
question, but yes.
It's so, yeah, but it's so fun. I know, I love it. Is
Good.
there's a transformative scene for you where you're at Divas and you're looking at the girls, maybe for the first time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And oh, you yourself are dressed up, I think, and you're
Yes,
in a
exactly.
mirror.
Yes.
Yes, and you're feeling yourself in a mirror to uh, the Bee Gees song.
Staying alive.
Yeah, Staying Alive, of course.
The dude
And
hates that song.
and you hate, yes, the dude hated disco.
Yeah.
The dude did not like it at all.
And I play it for him while I'm giving a blowjob just to rub it in his face.
And you had a man came up behind you and pressed his erection against you,
Yeah.
and you were having like kind of you were having new conflicting feelings, but they were connecting to you finding your new personality. So it was
Yeah, that's
really
right. I think
interesting.
there's that first element of shame, and I think I wrote a little bit about this as well. That all boys recognize the recoil of accidentally rubbing up against another guy's cock,
Right.
right? And when you're young, and you even if you even for a moment think it's good to have somebody touch me in any way because you're horny, immediately you become homophobic, and I mean, imagine all those things. And the irony of what I do is that the number of straight people, the straighter you are, the more interested they are in what I
Oh,
do.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah, we're not talking about like in the closet straight. We're talking about like real straight guys.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Very, yeah, exactly. Like the kind that frequented people came to Divas like that, came to these spaces. That's so
Yeah. But so
right.
once I got past, but the thing is, I was drunk, so it really helped me. And so yeah, the thing is, how did I keep going? I just kept going. And the idea that courage is not the absence of fear; it's action in spite of the fear
Oh, yeah.
was a
Yeah.
constant. Um, because it was such a novel, new, and fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
because it was so empowering, and because San Francisco was so positive to me, because there was so much pulling me towards it, that resistance just was no match for it.
Mm-hmm. You just
That's
felt
really
this
what.
this wonderful pull of the city or of the community or just the whole ethos and the elan of San Francisco,
Yeah,
or what
yeah,
was pulling
everything.
you?
Elon. It was just people like you, people I met. So many. There was a reverend there, Lyle Beckman. Who was in the community. I came from the suburbs. I came from Stepford Wives or whatever. I don't know what it is. Just like they have wine parties, and we talk about the lawn, and it just I remember like just creating these fantasies in my head about life, about how life was going to be sometime in the future in my
Mm-hmm.
suburban enclave, and I figured out a way to reach out and find the world, and it just never happened until I literally, just to get me out of this marriage, let me try something completely different. And out of the gate, we're talking about 0 to 60 faster than a Tesla. You know, I was like, I couldn't explain it. I tried to explain this to my brother. It's like, at some point in your life, you just stop. When you get older, you stop asking questions. Why is this working and this isn't? You just go that way.
Right, right. You just you just you're
Everything. It
just
doesn't matter what it is.
yeah.
I can't explain it. Thank you, God, that I have the opportunity, that I have food on the table, and this and that. My God, what am I complaining about?
I mean, there's definitely the general outline to your story of from the suburban life and your childhood through to this incredible life that you're leading now.
Yeah,
And there's so many aspects to it. You're a musician. You've explored so many different communities and bars, and then as well as you like growing up to be yourself in terms of dressing and figuring out how your look and everything. Um,
yeah.
how did you sit down and decide and be able to sort out through all this material?
Oh, to
To
write the
like, what
book,
was
to
it
write
like
the
to
book.
write the book?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right. You would ask me about that. So
yes.
I had written a couple of books before, right? They were nothing to do with sex, really, nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
and also I'm a writer in work, so I have a discipline and a process that I use, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the way I did this one was, so throughout since I moved here, I knew I wanted to tell some kind of stories. It was always in my mind. I wrote a musical first, um, you know, and so on. But the real issue was when did I really know where I was going to direct my energy? Because
Mm-hmm.
I dabbled in a lot of projects. I did a musical, and I went through this process where I would always take notes. I would think of something. Oh my God, that is amazing idea, and I put it in my iPhone. And once
Mm-hmm.
a month, I would download my notes and I would literally sort it into a database. Well, I already talked about that bit, so I was very, very disciplined. I'm a typical trans person and a jazz pianist. I'm an engineer, so I'm extremely analytical and process oriented and efficient because I want to be a girl, right?
Right.
So I want to just optimize all this male get shit done stuff. I want to optimize it so I can just
Be
put on
yourself.
a great
Be
show
yourself.
because I know this song so well. I'm not thinking about what I'm playing. I'm thinking about you. I'm trying to put a smile on your face, and I'm just doing something on the piano. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right.
so the question was, when did I know I was going to write a book? And there actually was a moment when I knew, full steam ahead, nothing what you would expect. So I was working on another project about conspiracy theories and nothing to do with sex.
Oh, okay.
And I'm talking to a grad school friend of mine, who's the biggest macho homophobe you can imagine.
Oh, wow.
I don't ask. He's a friend of mine, but that's the world of business, right? He's a nice
Right.
guy, right? Great guy. So I'm talking to him all about this conspiracy theory project. He knew a little bit about Maria, and he was as homophobic as you can get, right? I'm talking about this project. Honestly, he goes, what? You should write a book about Maria. I would read that in a second. And I'm looking at his eyes going, are you serious? God, dude, what is wrong with you? That is fucking awesome. What? I had never thought the straight guy like that. But it's all started coming together. But my cousin started asking me more questions about Maria, my straight cousin. So
Mm-hmm.
once I knew that, it was like I was ready. I put a set a date, and I just bam. Yeah.
That's perfect. You totally you totally pulled the organizational jujitsu on
Yeah,
you.
exactly. It's like as an entertainer, how many times, you're a creative person, how many projects have you done? You're like, this is going to be amazing. It's going to go viral. Everybody's going to love it. You put everything into it. And then you're like, what the hell happened? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
after a few of those, it's hard to stay motivated. But this
yes.
thing had the perfect storm of it's very important to me. It's about my life. And I found that people are interested in it.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah,
More than
yeah.
anything I've ever done.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Did it pour out of you once you started? I mean,
Oh,
was it
yeah.
very,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
The first draft is the easiest draft if I have my notes.
Yeah.
Since I had these notes, I had a musical that I wrote. I had a whole bunch of notes organized. So all I did was I looked at my notes and just created an outline that was totally intuitive to me. I'm going to tell a story going from from straight to, I'm just going to go on an arc, and then I just literally pulled in the notes and started writing, and that
Oh,
was easy.
great. Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that's where the energy and the creativity comes from. I'm not worried about the grammar. I'm not worried about did I say this already. I'm telling. It's like I'm talking to you right now. It was very conversational, high impact.
Mm-hmm.
Let me confuse him and then pull out the plug. Oh, that's what really happened, right? So all that stuff was in the first draft.
Right, right.
You know,
Yes,
yeah. The
yes. And
second
it
draft was the
reads,
hardest. Yeah.
it was hardest to go back. And then did you have to kind of fact check or reorient things,
Yeah,
or
I
how
had
was
to
it
do
like it?
so much. I had to cut. Oh my God, I already talked about it
Uh,
here, but I went through a whole thing here. How do I merge these together? Oh my God, that is just agony for me.
yes,
And that was
yes.
the second draft, and then the third draft was also hard because I had then it was all about smoothness and flow.
Right,
So I literally
right,
had a process, even with my editors. First editor, cut down 30%, sharpen it up. Don't bother me with grammars. Just we're gonna
right.
do another edit,
Yep,
right? Why
yep,
don't we
yep,
do
yep.
another edit? No, we're going to do another edit. I want to be in a
Right.
different headspace. Right now, I want you to sharpen, and we'll buff the sculpture after we have a bear.
Perfect. I love that. Buffing the sculpture.
I want to celebrate between headspaces.
Yes, yes, totally.
Like
Yes,
song. I don't
yes.
want to play blues and then in the middle of the blues song do a classical
Just
piece.
switch over. Just right. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, and that's interesting because music is one of the things that I think the dude and Maria share. Or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, I love seeing you on stage rocking out
yeah.
as Maria. Are there other things that the dude and Maria share or
That is a really good question. Wow, let me think about that. I don't think so. I mean, we share music. Um, God, not really. I
yeah,
mean,
I
I'm,
love that
I'm
I mean, music is such a great, perfect thing to be the only thing. It's like it's so
yeah,
universal that it
yeah,
comes
yeah.
through.
Because I really, it's like when I consider like, do I want to be full time as a girl? Right? I can't get stuff done when I'm a girl.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
honestly. So the dude is really good at getting stuff done. It's stuff that when I'm Maria, like literally when people work for me, it's under the Golden Gate show. I literally have people who work for me, right? They
Right.
know to ask Maria things and favors. They don't ask the dude. When they have a problem with the dude, they go to Maria.
I love
I'm totally normal. To me, it's totally normal. I am the
Yes.
best part of myself, and they get it. The dude is
Right.
just this taskmaster. Sorry, it's like I'm a really good project manager, among other things. And people say, "Wow, you're a really good project manager. You must really love it." I hate doing project management, but you know what? I hate even more not doing project management. That's why I'm efficient. Get it done. Boom, 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 boom. I want to get this done. I want to become Maria and have fun.
I love it.
You know?
I love it. I love it. Well, I mean, speaking about Maria, I mean, the book takes us on a journey of classic San Francisco spaces that at the time, I mean, this is really recent. This is around 2006
Yeah, that's what I
was your first, was kind of your first outing as
Yeah,
Maria in
late
2006, which really is only 15 years ago.
Yeah,
But so many of these spaces already feel they're either gone
yeah,
or they're under threat. But I mean, let's talk. It's grounded in this wonderful space called Divas that
yeah,
closed,
yeah,
3 years ago. I think it closed now,
yeah.
maybe three or
Weird.
4 years.
Weird.
Yeah, but I mean, tell me a little bit about the excitement around Divas and how important that community was to you. I know you
Yeah,
express it in the book, but talk a little bit about it.
yeah. It's like when I went there, it's so hard. I'm trying to describe. There's so many things about it. One thing is I felt like I was in a different world more than anything else. I felt like I could be my sexy. I could feel sexy. People were really nice. They were interesting to talk to. It went like when I go into a straight bar, people are trying to hook up in pairs or whatever it is, right? Or they're trying to do macho or this and that. When you went into Divas, I don't know if it's because it was Divas because I was a woman, right? But I've been to straight bars, but definitely in Divas, um, people really were interested in talking about their challenges, their problems, their kinks, their frustrations. It was
Mm-hmm.
literally like a big therapy office, and there was nobody too weird, too queer, too dorky, too whatever. The beautiful trans women would be hanging out with the ones who were not as good looking, whatever. Um,
Right.
and it was like no caste there. You know, that was probably the single most amazing thing about it was you were just completely like in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, for adults or something. It's like I literally would be working in my tech thing, and I would literally go down the back hall, and I could see Divas from here, this place, and I go down there and see it, right? Other amazing things about it was I'd find so many people that were overlay on top of what I just said, with people who are visiting from all over the world who've never seen this before, who had heard about it. I remember a group of Swedish filmmakers, all straight guys, who came in there, never saw this before, and they weren't interested in hooking up with me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were, but
Who wouldn't be?
but who? Yeah, good. So so I became this like tour guide or this ambassador, and I was very proud because people were so free there. It really was
Mm-hmm.
really, and another thing too, it was also another place where milieus of San Francisco would meet.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was a meeting place. It was a town
Yeah.
square. I remember I did
Yeah.
the town
You're
square.
right. It was the Divas was the trans town square. Yeah, and it seemed like nobody really there could be labels on people, but there weren't. There's so many people who were in between labels or
Oh
looking
yeah,
different
I
labels
learned
or
about the community. I learned about a lot about trans people, and I wrote a lot about
Mhm.
that.
Right.
That I began to see that there was so much knowledge there about trans, and then even people who knew the psychology of it, especially the older trans women who were ex-military, who had
Yes.
fully transitioned and were there,
Yes.
very quiet, and you would talk to them. They would be very unassuming, but the deep emotional feelings and knowledge and intelligence and maturity,
Right.
it was just staggering.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
addicted to meeting so many different people and sharing our deep feelings, our commonalities, our differences.
Hmm.
I just was addicted to it. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that you're totally reminding me of the first trans people that I met who were military, older, some even
Yeah.
with conservative views, but who had, this deep story and these,
Yeah.
who had, found their own journey through these really unconventional ways. That was just incredible.
Yeah. And I feel bad that, and you can't replicate this on the internet.
Right, right. This is so true. Yeah, you can't
You
do it.
I would bring like I don't know if you remember the story about my Ukrainian friend I brought in there, right?
Yes.
He said, "Show me something crazy. I want to see crazy from Ukraine." I was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10. I took him to Divas. He thought they were genetic women.
Oh,
These
wow.
women are beautiful. I love them. This is a crazy place. Whoa, wait a minute. We're not done yet here, right? I was like, they were born men, huh? They were born, huh? No, 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 no. And he stormed out. And I was like, oh shit. So I'm just about to go out and get him, and all of a sudden he comes in the door with this huge smile on his face. I love America. This is crazy. And he just walked in there. Then he started taking his Ukrainian colleagues there and doing the same thing to them.
Oh, wow.
And then he wrote me this beautiful letter. Just a great guy. He's married with kids and everything. Great letter. Ukrainian men, we are so cold in our heart, and you opened your heart to me in the American, whatever, and you showed me possibilities and people, and I cannot be more grateful to you. I love you. I couldn't believe. And that car was in a bouquet of flowers he brought to one of my shows.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so it's
That's
those
so
kind of things
nice.
where you mix. It was an opportunity to have literally a nexus,
Mm-hmm.
a galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
where different filaments would come together, and you could see like a neural net kind of thing. That's
I
what it was
love it.
like.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's interesting that you, because I mean, your background is in tech,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
it's very your professional background. It's so
yeah.
interesting to see you apply these metaphors, of science
And I
to.
have to because tech needs feminine energy.
Yes. Okay. Tell me.
Otherwise, the
Yeah.
world's gonna
Really.
die.
It's terrible.
Yeah, they need to see, and I have this problem when I work, and I still work in tech, whereas part of my job is I'm using my transness on my job. It's like get the whole,
Ah,
stuff, right? Right? But they're just not seeing the big picture, right? And they're operating at a totally different level. They don't have this feminine karmic intuition.
huh.
You can sense this is going to happen, but since they can't see it, they don't believe it.
I see. Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, so my job is to say, and the funny thing is when as you go higher in the organization to senior management, they're more feminine. They see this because they're older and wiser, right?
Right.
So, but there's a lot of people down here, and so I tend to see the world through this battle that I see every day between the masculine and the feminine.
Right. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. The book just also like kind of goes through other spaces that are kind of still around, some still around, some not. Martuni's,
Yeah. Yeah.
The Cinch with Michael Brown at the
Yeah. Yeah.
Cinch, the Stud,
Mm.
so many great places that were part of the milieu at the time. I mean, what was it like when you were discovering all these places and bringing your music and your personality and
Oh,
your looks and
yeah. Yeah.
everything into that?
I remember that. I did a lot of it in that first 6 week period.
Yeah.
It's like I would go in there and I would walk in and you ever felt like a dork in high school or like you're walking through a party and like nobody's going to talk
Totally.
to you and you're standing there
Yes.
with a sore thumb, right? As I walk in there, remember, I'm playing around with makeup. I'm wearing some kind of girly outfits, real tardy child outfits. So what do I know? So I'm expecting to feel like a sore thumb or a sore thumb, but just a loner.
Right.
And within 5 seconds, that is completely shattered. Oh my God, you're beautiful. I'm just like, are you talking to me? Like I just didn't. I would move from black to white so fast. I just couldn't believe it, right? And then I would find this whole other milieu of people, and then the next night or the next week, I would go through the same thing. It took me about 6 months to a year to even get that thing out of the back of my head that I should be afraid or I'm weird or whatever. And it took me probably 5 years to accept that I am okay just as I am, and that the world I came from was full of this virus that I talk about, this monoculture.
Right, the monoculture virus. Yeah, that's making everybody bored. I mean,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of kind of related to the monoculture virus, was part of you accepting yourself also accepting that you didn't fall solidly into these labels like gay, straight? I mean, you had started out wearing women's clothes, but you still dated women, or like I mean, did you have to accept yourself as not being the typical what people thought of when they
That's
saw you?
hard. And that's still hard for me, right?
Okay.
Because there were the obvious parts. I didn't, the funny thing is I didn't worry about what other people thought that much. I did a little bit. I was trying to, it was more about what I thought.
Yeah.
I always figured if the thing I was most afraid of was feeling like I was being outed for something that I wasn't.
Right.
Right. I thought if I was really trans or really gay, I wouldn't care. Or I shouldn't. The thing is, I was still attracted to the idea of myself as the dude dating women. Because I liked that. Right? And it didn't concern me that women I was dating would find out or it would prevent me from dating women. But it was more like the idea that I would even want to have a relationship with a man or even enjoy it or even look forward to it was just so foreign to me that I completely resisted it. And then after a while, I had dated and it was just so much easier dating guys.
That's interesting.
It was just,
right.
It was so much easier. It was so much more fun. It's like, and it wasn't really my preference, but after a while, I just didn't care.
Right.
Now I feel like I still I don't know if I want to be in a romance with a man. I'm not quite sure what I am because I still think that if the world was different, the dude would be with women.
Right.
But for some reason, the world isn't sending me down that
There.
path. And I
Yeah.
don't understand why.
Hmm.
I
That's so
still don't
interesting.
understand why. I
Right,
have my
right.
theories, which you've read about in my comments.
Yes, yes. Yeah. But so totally, yeah, exploring that. And then, I mean, I think that was one of the most moving, or among the most moving parts of the book for me, was you going out shopping
No.
and putting on the clothes and the makeup and learning, going to Macy's,
Oh,
and
really?
I mean,
I
like,
was
yeah,
gonna
I
cut
mean,
that. I was gonna cut that chapter.
oh,
I was,
I mean, I think for someone like who has an experience that to live it vicariously through you, and also just, I mean, during the pandemic, the thought of going to a department store is like, I was like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not wonderful, but still, it's like, yeah. I mean, talk about. Can you talk a little bit about how it was reliving, like becoming Maria in that way? Or
Oh, yeah, yeah. That was really hard because when I first started, I would never go. First of all, I'd never go shopping as Maria, ever. Right. So
right,
I
okay,
started. I had this narration in my head that I was buying it for my girlfriend. Right. And I think, and I felt a little bit uncomfortable, but I kept repeating that and almost like pretended it was true.
mm-hmm.
The biggest problem was I couldn't try anything on. So about a third of the stuff I bought,
Oh,
I had to
right,
get rid of it because it didn't fit.
right,
I didn't even want to think of going back in there and saying, "Well, I bought this blouse." Like I don't even want to go there. You know what I mean? Like I
right, right.
consider it to be a convenience tax, right? But, but it was really hard finding stuff for the right size. You
Okay.
know, and like for example, I started off with Victoria's Secrets for the bras, but then I stumbled across Macy's and they got larger sizes. So then it took a while to realize, but the
That
problem
you
is
would need the large.
I
Oh,
need the larger
okay.
sizes, so I had to go to a larger store. So there was a time, so I was never really, I was always very nervous about it, right? But that's part of the excitement because it wasn't like I was buying orange juice. I was buying something I was going to put on later and go out with.
Yes.
So
Exciting.
so imagine being in a situation where you're scared as hell, but at the same time you're super excited to wear this thing tonight. And you're the guy like trying to keep your emotions down. And you're
Right.
kind of getting excited, and you're trying to like, I want to get home. I did.
Okay, what?
Stop dancing. Is that kind of thing. And then after a while, I started dressing as Maria and doing it.
Right.
Starting
Mm-hmm,
off with
mm-hmm.
tripping on mushrooms.
Oh, yes, that's right. Right.
So I figured, I was before I moved to San Francisco. I never smoked pot. I rarely drank. I wasn't interested in partying at all,
Okay.
really at
Yeah.
all. So I just figured I'm making up for most time, And I don't feel like a slut or dirty or anything because it's like, oh yeah, you have no idea. That's what somebody asked me about that. I said, oh yeah, what did being romantic and being conservative get me? It got me a divorce. It got me a miserable, boring lifestyle. It turned me into a beta male, or whatever. So sorry, I've been watching too much YouTube.
I know. I love
The
it.
dude is still like poking around and trying to figure out. The dude is still trying to survive.
Okay. Yeah.
Watching videos
Yes.
about what women
Right.
want. Dude, I don't even like pay attention to him anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
But where was I? I forgot. I lost. My
Oh yeah, we were talking. Well, you were talking about you were going to the store trying all these things, but you were so excited because
I was so
later you'd be
excited.
able to wear them. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because I just never got as a guy. I never got excited about the clothes. I was
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
always very much introspective. I read a lot. I wasn't into glamour. I wasn't into pop culture. I was typical heavy metal,
Yeah.
punkish metal, nerdy kind of guy.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, I
mm-hmm.
just no. I love girls,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
didn't trust any of them.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't trust them.
Nope. Not where I grew in the town I grew up in.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Was it because of the monoculture, or what was
Yeah,
it
it
like?
was
Yeah.
a very, very Jewish, upper middle class, snotty, obnoxious.
Oh no. Oh
Same
geez.
town that several celebrities are from my hometown.
Oh really? Okay.
Jason Alexander from Seinfeld.
Yes. Oh wow. Okay.
Chelsea Handler went to my my elementary school. Chris Christie,
Oh really?
my sister,
Wow.
and a few other folks. But yeah, it's very Jewish. Hey, I have a lot of respect for religion, and I actually really love my religion. I'm very, very interested in it. But my God, just like every other demographic, there's a bunch of real fucking doozies in there.
Yep,
Think that they're
yep.
going to use the Jewish card? I'm sorry. I don't care if you're Jewish, Saudi or Muslim. You can't use that card to be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That's the town I grew up in.
Mm.
Fancy cars and it's just
Uh,
soul killing.
yeah, yeah.
Oh God!
Sounds terrible.
I wrote about it in my comic strips.
Yes, which I
I was
love.
worried that people would be really offended, but I wanted to make it clear. I don't believe everybody's like this. I don't believe America's like this. I just believe that it's out there.
It's out there.
And,
Hmm.
just because I am traumatized by it and I talk about it doesn't mean I believe all Americans are like that.
Right, 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 right.
And that's the challenge of art is the way a lot of things I wrote. I wrote things that were conflicting, and some things were very,
Yes.
very negative. And I had a really tough time with the transgendered surgeon who I sent for release from, and she blew up. Right.
Right, right.
Yeah, it was what a weird experience that was.
Yeah, can you talk about that experience for a little bit?
Because when what happened was when I went in to see her, she's great, right? It just we ended up making up at the end. It was really quite remarkable. But when you see somebody, you're very nervous. You think it's gonna be very clinical, right? And she said to me, the first thing she said to me, I thought it was going to be, "Are you sure you want to be transgender? How long?" I thought she was going to psychoanalyze me. Imagine me expecting that. Like I'm all nervous.
Right.
The first thing she said to me is, "Girl, we got a way of creating a G spot. Right? You're really going to like this." And I'm just like, I was like, "What?" And I was like, "You're supposed to tell me not to do this. You're supposed to stop me."
This is so interesting, right? Oh yeah.
And I wrote that absolutely bluntly, and I also wrote about this conflict I had in her waiting room, and I was kind of judging people around me because I was so nervous, and I was being an asshole. But we've all done that, right? I don't want, I'm just afraid the trolls are going to say, "Hey, you were judging this person." No, I was judging this person because we all do that, and then I caught myself and realized it was all about me, right? How hard it is to write that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Some license. If I'm writing a book about this, I'm probably not an asshole, right? I'm not perfect. Anyway, so I wrote this very controversial piece, and I sent it to her for release form because I wanted to use her name, and she had a cow.
Oh, wow.
I would never have said that, and she just it was very emotional.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I don't know why. I think maybe the way I wrote it, she didn't see the rest of the book.
Okay.
And it was I was like, this is not how I wanted to feel with this surgeon. This is somebody who I had known about for many years, and this is not my first.
Right.
So then I explained to her what was happening, and then it turns out there was a misunderstanding, and I toned down the language. I was, I admit I was trying to be a little bit too edgy because I was writing.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's all I had to say. But and then at the end, she really opened up to me.
Oh wow. Okay.
Why her experiences and the deep feeling she felt. And she admitted why she blew up, and I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And then we ultimately said, "I don't want to get you into trouble. Okay, believe me, it doesn't matter if your name's in there or not. I just, and it all ended up well,
Good.
And that never would have happened if I had not gone out on a limb and said, "This is the push." I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but a lot of the things I write about, this is how I felt. This is what I was thinking at the time. It doesn't make me right. It doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't make me bad. It doesn't make me good. I am a human just like you, and this is what I felt like.
Yeah, no, that humanity definitely comes through in the book. And also, I think we were talking before about kind of conformist society. Your Under the Golden Gate interviews kind of explored the opposite of that. They dug into kink. They dug into the subculture of the world, and they were so wonderful and so deep and I think knowledgeable. I think that was such a great database of interviews that you've built up. But tell me a little bit about how you decided to get into interviewing other people who had crazy San Francisco experiences.
Oh, like more the kink stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of a gradual thing. At first, the whole idea behind Under the Golden Gate was when I started is that we would have artists that would promote each other. So, I could video you would video me if if you were a good video editor and I was a good sound person. So it was started off as sort of I don't know if the word is I don't know what the word is, but sort of a community kind of thing. And I naturally became interested in people that way. But my father was an interviewer, right? So when I lived overseas in Africa, he would interview Maasai warriors and game wardens, and he was always very zany, and I always just kind of wanted to be like him, right? So I just naturally was interested in people. So I had the venue to do it, the Under the Golden Gate, and I just really truly was just fascinated by people in this city. To
Mm-hmm.
me, it was just, I was curious. I wanted to find out myself, and I wanted to share with people. And then when I started getting into more of the deeper kink stuff, was a story I know you were involved with, which was that when we started, Dan, DJ Dank, my right hand guy, my producer, partner in this, suggested that we do some kink stuff because the videos, when we did talk about kink, those had more hits.
Oh, okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, let me try it. And then when I had Sebastian Keys on the show, talking about kink and porn, I just couldn't believe how many more views it got.
Oh.
I was just like, and I was trying to go to bigger venues because I wanted to get a grand piano and I wanted to do all this stuff. So I knew I needed views. And people kept saying to me, oh, views aren't that important. I'm like, yeah, but I want to get to a bigger venue. I got to do this, And then I just did what I normally did. I was interested in people and what motivated them. And now it was in the context of kink.
Right.
So it wasn't like I always feel interest in kink.
Yeah, no, that's a big part of your.
Yeah.
I know at one point in the book you do a pie chart of Maria, and kink is like a big
chunk of that,
slice of it.
I am interested in it because it's like I needed it so badly. When I saw like my first transvestite in London when I was 10 years old because I lived overseas.
Yes.
I perceived the world around, because I spent a lot of time overseas, as being so infected with this virus, with this culture telling you who you are, that I needed something to stop it from infecting me. I needed, an antidote or a vaccine, and so kink to me was always, even when I was a kid, I always saw it as a rebellion against the system. When I saw my first transvestite in London, my first thought was, I was 10 years old, Piccadilly Circus. I was in a theater and everybody's seating, and I see this trans woman in a black dress. My first thought was, yeah, you show them. You go, yeah. Just her whole attitude, And then later on at the hotel, my mother's like, "Did you see that transvestite at the theater?" And my father's like, "Well, I think she looked great. Good for her." Like I overheard this. And so the fact that my mother didn't like it and my father thought it was good had this interesting dynamic that I kind of liked.
That's so interesting. Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love it. Right.
Because you have the power, because where I grew up, the sexes manipulated each other, as they do in many straight environments. And I saw it as an infection. I was not going to let this idea that I have to be a certain man or dress a certain way to get a girl change my entire sense of being down to my sexual core. It was just simply not going to happen.
Yeah. No, you talk about when you saw her in London, you saw this mystical feminine power, this like divine power almost that you had not seen, before, like this take charge kind of attitude.
And the weird thing is, when I think back, I saw her for maybe 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know about me.
No.
Now flip it around. How many people have seen me?
Oh, wow.
I don't know about.
That's right. That's right.
And what I find interesting about that is, it's interesting to me, of course, personally, but this applies to everybody. So it's like, if there's somebody asks you, what do I want people to take away from this book, right? Many things, but one of them is just remember that the impact that you have on the world, you're like a tip of the iceberg. You're not going to know about 95% of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out there talking to people, when you're out there choosing your friends, you're out there vibing with energy, just remember that it matters what you're doing. And if you stand up and you be the best person you can be, and you have fun and you live your life, and not be afraid and do all those things, it's gonna make an enormous difference, and you'll never even know it. And that is true faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I went to Israel so many times that I never had any kind of buddy tell me what faith is about without reciting the scriptures and trying to show me how much they know about the Torah.
Right.
Watch me read the Torah better than you. Baruch, I'm just like, really? That's why I flew to Israel? To listen to you recite stuff in Hebrew?
Right.
To show me how good you are? Sorry. You see the 2 rock star pictures in my book?
Yes. Totally, yes.
My favorite photo is when I'm sitting next to, well, these are 2 different pictures, but I'm with Jane Weedland from the Go-Go's, and I'm with Jello Biafra from the Dead Kennedys, and both of them are flipping the double finger.
So perfect, so perfect. Totally. So now, obviously, we're in a strange time to put out a book.
Yeah,
Although things are recovering. I mean, what are your plans for? You're in the bars, you're selling the book.
yeah,
I love the Maria book station at the Cinch.
yeah,
People. And obviously the ebook is out now, which is
yeah. Just
fantastic.
came out.
So it
Yeah,
can reach more people. I
yeah.
mean, what would be your dream of being able to promote this? Like a book tour,
Oh,
or
yeah,
like
for
what's
sure.
your
Well,
thoughts? Yeah.
I have a publicist now,
Oh,
right, in New
excellent.
York, who does sex stuff. And what happened was my distributor really likes what I'm doing, and he says, "Oh my God, you don't have a publicist?" Made a couple of phone calls. I had a publicist. I've been trying for 3 years to find a publicist.
It's
He gets
amazing.
me one in 24 hours.
Like boom.
Yeah, boom, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love it!" Right? It's supposed to my last book which is about green energy. So, oh my God, my dream. I already painted my dream, and yes, it does have the T word, tour. So, all the usual things, speaking engagements, and so on. But I really, really want to go on tour. I already have
Awesome.
the cities in the U.S. picked out. Like,
Hmm.
get in my car and like drive to Vegas, Texas,
Oh,
Louisiana, down to Florida, then up to New York and Boston, Chicago, Denver, Salt Lake City, and back. Right.
right.
So then there's Europe. I'm really, really want to hit London. My dream is to play at Ronnie
London.
Scott's at London.
Ooh,
So
nice. Oh my gosh,
warm
I
up with
love it.
somebody.
I love
But I would love to just be out there just spreading the word, so to speak, or
it.
just
Hmm.
spreading the,
Hmm.
the vibe. I mean, if I could quit
Hmm.
my tech job, I'd do it in a second. I wish I could. But I can work from the road.
That's true.
Any
Yeah.
time zone,
Work
any
from home.
location I can work from. I'm
That's
totally remote.
perfect.
Right, yeah.
Right, right.
So I
Oh,
would
how
love to do
cool.
that, and get a little speaking engagement, because to me it's like I'd love to earn a living and do that, whatever. But to me,
Hmm.
it's if I could be out there spreading a really positive message, hey, I'll take that.
Hmm. Hmm. I love it. I know exactly like what you were saying. You only saw her in London for 10 seconds, but she made an impression, and you can go out and some kid in London may see you crossing the street to the bookstore.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Or, yeah, and then hear what I have to say, or see that even just see that I'm in town, see that
right.
somebody's doing this, because
I love it.
I don't see it as an LGBT thing. I think I see it as a universal theme that we all feel like we've been pushed into a corner, or we can't be our true selves, and
Right.
you can, and we all know that, but there needs to be something that pulls you there, that allows you to do it, and I think it's like doing something you love. I mean, I hate to quote. I think Steve Jobs said something like this. I don't usually quote from him, but if you want to be successful in a business, do something you love.
Right.
You know,
Right.
if you love doing it, there are so many other things that are going to happen, because you're really not, selling music, whatever you want to call it. It's the energy.
Hmm.
That,
Hmm.
to me, it's like I'm an improv musician. I'm terrible. I can read music, but I'm not very good at it. I just completely improv. And it's the
Oh, I
vibe.
didn't know that. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You ride the
totally.
vibe.
Oh yeah, totally. Matter of fact, the Cinch now has a piano. Did you know that?
No, I did not
So
know that.
Eric, like the bartender at the Cinch, I went there literally. They just got it like 5 days ago. I'm standing there on Sunday night. Actually, it's funny. I went to Martuni's on Sunday, but they were closed because they had opened, but they're closed because they can't find. It's hard finding bartenders in
Oh,
town.
right. That's right. Right, right.
A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
the
yeah.
clubs can't find
Right.
bartenders.
Can't find bartenders. Right,
So I'm
right.
like, oh shit, the Martuni. I really wanted to play the piano. Like, okay, whatever. So I went to the Cinch, and I'm standing there talking to the bartender, and he's like kind of grinning at me, like, "What's so funny?" He's like, "Nothing," and he's like, "What's so funny?" And then I noticed there's a piano sitting in the corner, like an upright piano. I'm like, "Where did that piano come from?" I thought it was like an antique, a decoration. He goes, "Can I play it?" He goes, "Yes." So
Oh
I
my
went
gosh,
over there, played.
amazing.
They turned off the music, and I just started busting out into all these tunes. The crowd came around. I made $35 in like 30, 20 minutes.
I love it. That's amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, are you gonna have like a special night there, or are you
Oh
gonna?
yeah, for sure. Well, the book signing, my official book signing is going to be Saturday, the Saturday before Pride, Saturday,
Oh,
June
terrific.
19th.
Okay,
Book signing like 4 to 6 or 7 to 5 to 7. Then do
terrific.
piano after that, and then
Okay,
maybe once a week on Sundays or something like that. Have like two piano players.
that'd be wonderful. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that'd be so great. I love it. I love it. That's
yeah.
perfect. Well, I just have one more question, which is, while you were writing the book, what was one of the biggest aha moments for you when you were looking back over your life? Were there
Oh,
any was there anything that jumped out at you particularly, that you like, oh, I put it together, or like what was the most
that
exciting thing? Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, because I know the one aha that I suddenly realized that was so strange to me
Oh,
is
yeah.
that is that out of all the times that I told people about me and the struggles, never has anybody asked about the dude.
Huh.
Like women were saying to me, like, oh, you should be a woman, all power to you, be yourself. And I've talked to thousands of people. Never, not once, did any of them have any passion for him, want to know more about him, told me to, to be him, and never.
Never.
I guess that was one of the biggest revelations, and I guess what that made me think about was probably at the end. I don't want to give anything away, but like I said, it's who am I, right? Am I the person on probably the biggest revelation is, am I the person on the inside, or am I the person on the outside? Am I who I think I am at the inside, or is it how other people perceive me? And the differences between the dude and Maria are just so stark. It's just it shatters my entire interpretation of who I am.
Huh.
Because if I want to be my best self because I enjoy it, I kind of have to be Maria. But why?
Right.
It's the same person.
Yeah, right.
I know intellectually that they're different. And then several women said to me, you're happier when you're a girl.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you're happier when you have a happier personality, but there is still the dude there too, who's living along.
And I asked the question in the book, can Batman get rid of Bruce Wayne? Right. Can't, or
yeah, right.
Can I? I don't know the answer. If I was in a situation where I could earn money as Maria and like say just the dude doesn't need to work, right? Even then, I like to party.
Right.
I like to have sex. I don't like doing a lot of work. I don't like hauling equipment around.
Right.
And I just met with some trans women this weekend. Of course, things are opening up. I'm back with my trans girls out in Sacramento, and they were all very similar to me. They were straight guys, and and they said, I would love to be a girl, have tits over the weekend, and take them off during the week.
Right. Huh. Right.
But we'll see what the world brings, because I think we all have to ultimately realize that they say if they give you lemons, make lemonade.
Right.
I think that is so true, because I think that nothing ever happens the way we expected it to from like a definitive level. Sort of corporeal version. It's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. You're not going to get what you think you get or do what you think you're going to do. But from a spiritual perspective, right, what the intention is, what the feeling is, where you want to be emotionally, I think not only do you get it, but you're going to get so much more than you could ever possibly imagine.
I love it. I love it.
It's so weird, but do you have to let go of part of you to get there? It's that old story. Do you have to kill? Do you have to shed your skin?
Right.
Do you have to? Yeah.
I love it. That is a beautiful conundrum for us to finish the interview on. Girl shock.
And I must admit something.
Please.
I did in a way leave the ending in place because I wanted to see what people think I should do.
Okay, great. Yes, exactly. Ending on another. Perfect.
What do you call it? The hive mind? Hive mind. What should I do here?
I love it. Anyone watching this, get Girl Shock. Contribute to the discussion. Contribute to the ending for Maria. Maria, thank you so much for talking tonight. And I mean, we will see you again soon. I can't wait to come and see you at the Cinch.
Oh, for sure. And thank you so much for your time. You've always been so supportive, and I love you and all that other good stuff.
Thank you.
And we will definitely see you soon. I will piano nights at the Cinch, I think on Sundays.
Yes. All right. Perfect. I love it. All right. Thank you, my dear. Bye-bye.
Okay.